Hello, I'm Judge Chris Macon, Ellis County Justice of the Peace, Precinct 1, and you're listening to Texas County Voice, a podcast for all 254 counties, and we thank you for listening.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Texas County Voice. I'm Jody Seaburn with the Texas Association of Counties. For months, years even, Texas counties have been preparing for the solar eclipse on April 8th. They have arranged logistics to ensure safety and maintain order, working with the state and neighboring counties, and consulting with counties that experienced the 2017 total solar eclipse that spanned the United States from the northwest to the southeast. The path of totality for the April 8th eclipse will be about 115 miles wide and will stretch from Maverick County on the U.S.-Mexico border to Red River County on the Oklahoma border. In some rural counties, crowds of visitors are expected to be several times larger than the residential population. Some counties have preemptively issued disaster declarations ahead of the eclipse. Others have declarations ready to file if needed. Truth be told, no one really knows quite what to expect, other than to expect traffic. That seems a certainty. We reached out to a few county leaders as they were making their final plans for the eclipse. From Bandera to Llano County and up to Rains County. Join us on a journey through preparation, anticipation, and perhaps a little consternation as counties get ready to witness and manage an unforgettable experience for both residents and visitors alike. Our first stop, Bandera County, where Commissioner Jack Mosley first heard about this year's eclipse a quarter century ago, when his son's boss asked about reserving the house where their company had just had a work retreat. Now, solar eclipses are known decades, centuries in advance, so they shouldn't catch anyone by surprise. But looking 24, 25 years in the future, that is some notable forward thinking. With Commissioner Mosley's encouragement, Bandera held its first eclipse planning meeting 3 years ago. October's partial solar eclipse served as a dress rehearsal for April 8th. Commissioner Mosley said Bandera County is expecting 80,000 to 100,000 visitors for the total solar eclipse, 4 times the county's current population. Tell me a little bit about the planning process over the past year and a half, 2 years, 3 years, however long it's been.
Actually, our very first meeting was held 3 years ago on March 8th. And then a year later, about a year and a half later, we started having monthly county meetings with all the department heads. And also included in them, and that has been appearing in almost all of them, was TxDOT, DPS, TDM, from both Kerrville and San Antonio periodically. We have our own emergency management person here. The school board, BEC, which is the electric co-op, a couple other schools. The post office finally got involved a couple of months ago because after October, the rural delivery people out on that particular Saturday.
So don't expect your mail to necessarily arrive.
I didn't say that. I know they got involved. I don't know what they're going to do.
So your main concern, I think, is probably traffic?
Yes. Our main concern is traffic. For the cities, they have their main concern is the availability of food and water and gas and that type of stuff. For the county, it is traffic. In October, we put deputies at all the major intersections to direct traffic. And also in this one, because of cell phones not working more than likely, and in fact, a lot of my precinct cell phone don't work anyway. They will be a way to get in touch for an emergency with dispatch. If you can make it to an intersection that has a county sheriff's officer there, you can get in touch with dispatch through the radio. We have ham radio people involved at different places. In October, we put ambulances at all of the volunteer fire stations, or at 5 of the volunteer fire stations. We're going to do that again. The volunteer fire station in Vanderpool and Medina right now are planning on having some mules, the Kawasaki mules and that type of stuff, that seat 4 people, and they can throw equipment in the back end if they need to put EMS on that to get up the side of the road to get to wherever they're going. Hopefully we don't need it, but we are planning for that.
Well, you mentioned the cell phone access, and I think that might be something that a lot of visitors haven't thought about. The path of totality is across a lot of rural areas, and a lot of rural areas in Texas do not have broadband access or reliable cell phone service. So that might be something that some visitors haven't anticipated.
I guarantee that it'll be more than some of them. Like I said, in part of my precinct, I don't have cell service anyway.
From what I understand, the big concern is not so much the days before the eclipse, because people will be kind of trickling in, but it's as soon as the eclipse is over, everyone trying to leave at once.
Yes, and it won't be every one of them. The ones that are eclipse chasers or whatever, people that are involved in this, they know they're going to hang around for another day or two.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's all the people that just going to come up because it's a thing to do that day.
Mm-hmm.
is what we're concerned about, mainly, And this is not just Bandera County; it's the whole hill country, from Del Rio to Waco, and it's a lot of small towns, and they're all going to have the same issues. And one of the biggest issues, I haven't heard it talked about much, is afterwards, everybody's anticipating the gas stations to be empty and the grocery stores to be empty, and it's going to be 2 or 3 days before you can get a delivery, because it's not going to just be Bandera; it's going to be all the towns around it for the same problem. So you may be without gas for until Wednesday or Thursday, just because of traffic trying to get in and availability of trucks.
So someone just planning to go out that morning and leave that afternoon, what advice would you have for them?
Have extra gas, because you may have a long wait going home because of traffic. There will be no porta johns on the side of the roads. That's going to be a major issue for a lot of people. Extra water and food.
Uh-huh. In 2017, I was in Central Oregon for the eclipse when it went through there. And have you been in touch with your counterparts in Oregon, Wyoming, other parts of the country?
I talked to several people from Wyoming. There is a gentleman that is a Texas winter person that comes to Bandera in winter from Nebraska, and he actually has a 5,000-acre ranch, and he hosted porking for the one in 17. And I talked to the city administrator in Carbondale, Illinois, and because they were dead center, and I talked to him specifically because this one in 24 is going back through Carbondale from a different direction, from the south, and asked him what they were doing different this time than they did last time. And basically, they're not doing a whole lot different. When I talked to him, he says the day of and the day before, there's nothing you can do anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Another issue, which is not just Bandera, but the grocery stores. I know the Lowe's grocery store in Bandera is already been guaranteed to have an extra refrigerator truck and freezer truck loaded parked there. Okay, and some of the restaurants are going to be able to use that to put extra food in. And several of the restaurants, the more popular restaurants, are putting RVs behind them for their employees, because the traffic employees, if they can get to town, won't have a place to park.
Right.
So they're actually planning on the employees staying there for that weekend.
What have your conversations been with your neighboring counties? Have you been working with them too?
Yeah, yes. TxDOT, they come from Kerrville. The DPS, we have 4 here, but they're head guys out of Kerrville, San Antonio. They're all participating. Like I said, we've had Tatum from San Antonio and Kerr County in here. Also had National Weather Service here at all of them, giving us updates. There's a lot of resources out there to help the counties, but you just have to be organized and use them.
Yeah, I guess the best you can do is just be prepared.
Yes, and pray for rain.
Well, it could be cloudy and rainy and just spoil everyone's party.
That's right.
Well, are you going to be able to take some time to enjoy this natural phenomenon yourself?
I Have no idea. Depends on traffic and what I'm going to be involved in.
You have an emergency, like central location that will be open, that everything will be up and running in advance of the eclipse?
Yes, at what Bandera calls the Justice Center, we have the jail, and we have the sheriff's office and emergency operators. Everything's in one building. The mayor will be here. The city, the county judge will be here. We'll have Tatum here, our emergency management. The fire marshal will be in the building because we're using our volunteer fire departments as stations because people are familiar with their volunteer fire department.
Well, some counties have issued disaster declarations. Has
Correct.
Bandera County?
No, we have one ready to go if we think needed.
Of course, it's prudent to be prepared, but no one really knows how many people are coming or exactly what to expect.
That's correct. We anticipate the majority of the crowd to be the western part of the county and the eastern part of the county, which is Bandera, headed back towards San Antonio or south anywhere. They're going to have to come through Bandera basically to get there. And the traffic in Bandera is going to be the main issue. I mean, all the hotels are already full, the restaurants, but there's no other place in Bandera County to eat either.
Well, Commissioner, thank you for your time. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Well, I got a DAR involved several months ago on this to pass the word to the farmers and ranchers, because a lot of farmers and ranchers, they don't really know or care about what's going on in the towns. Mm-hmm. So we asked them to spread the word for them to make sure they're prepared, because I mean, the simple things like don't plan on plowing a field and changing a flat tire in case there is an accident, because you won't get to the doctors. Make sure you got your feed and everything you need. Just like we're asking the people in the city, get everything you need and stay home.
Is it a concern that people might trespass?
Yes, we are asking all residents in the cities, out in the country, bite your tongue, they'll go away tomorrow.
Well, that sounds like wise advice to me, is just be patient. This is a one-day thing. I think I read somewhere at least the last time Austin had a total eclipse was 600 years ago, so it's not something that happens every day.
That's right. Yep, it's coming. We can't stop it, and we're prepared. We're as prepared as we're going to get. We know that.
From Bandera County, we move about 90 miles northeast to Llano County, where Judge Ron Cunningham shares his county's preparations, which have involved multiple meetings and strategic partnerships to manage the expected crowds. As in other counties, Llano officials have been urging residents to buy groceries, get their prescriptions, and fill up on gas well before the expected crunch for the eclipse begins. Well, Llano attracts a lot of tourists, and a huge event is coming up April 8th, and which I think you're anticipating tens of thousands of visitors, and that's the total solar eclipse. How has Llano prepared for that event?
Our emergency management coordinator, myself, and our Texas Division Emergency Management County Liaison Officer have been going to meetings for over a year now. I think our CLO from TDM has attended over 30 meetings in preparation for this. And it's a collaboration between the counties. You know, Burnett's having huge events during the eclipse. We're not having so much huge events, but we're responsive to, you know, the only thing that separates us from Burnett and Llano is the river. And so our EMS service is responding over there. Our law enforcement will respond over there. And it's been an ongoing effort. I just sent out an email this morning, as a matter of fact, explaining to the sheriff's office and our road and bridge and everyone that's going to be involved in that when the Emergency Operations Center is going to be up. And we'll probably have it ready to go on that Friday. And then we may ramp it up into full operation on Saturday, but if not, it will be Sunday and operate through Monday and maybe into Tuesday. We've ordered 1,000 gallons of extra gas and have it at our road and bridge department for our law enforcement vehicles. We've ordered diesel for the ambulances. We've got locations prepared for meals for our law enforcement, our first responders, and everyone who's going to be responding. And it's going to literally be an all hands on deck. We're running deputies on 12-hour shifts for that time and running at full capacity.
The city of Llano is pretty much smack dab in the center of that path of totality. So how many people is Llano County and the city expecting?
We're expecting probably 30 to 40,000 people. It could be more. This is one of those situations.
It's a big unknown.
It is, and we don't know what we don't know, and that's the challenge. And what we're explaining to everyone involved is that the eclipse in itself is not a disaster. There are situations or incidents that could occur during that time, which could flip it from an incident to a disaster in just a matter of minutes, and that's what we have to be prepared for. We don't want to get everybody together to just sit around, but we're anticipating pretty much a full capacity in our county, and it's going to be a challenge.
Several Texas counties have issued disaster declarations. Is that something you've considered?
We've considered it. We've talked with Blanco. We've talked with Burnett. I know Burnett just did theirs, and I've got the letter ready to go. And it's one of those things that, just sheer traffic is not going to create a disaster. But if incidents happen during that time, then I would submit the letter in a heartbeat.
And what does declaring a disaster do? What does that mean in terms of resources?
What we can declare a disaster when we've exhausted all of our local resources, and if you think about it, we're already going to have all of our local resources in operation. So if at some point the sheriff calls or emergency management coordinator lets me know that we've hit maximum capacity, then we've got to have some help. We've already got DPS coming into Llano County, and they're doing a remarkable job working with Horseshoe Bay PD down there. And so it's just going to be a matter of time, or we have to wait and see.
Before we started recording, I mentioned that I'm a bit of an astronomy nerd, and I was in Central Oregon in 2017 when the eclipse went through there. Have you been in touch with your counterparts in Oregon or Wyoming or wherever that path went through 7 years ago?
We have, and it's interesting because they've all said, well, we weren't sure what to expect, but the one thing you can count on is traffic. We just don't know what's going to happen with the traffic for the city of Llano and Horseshoe Bay. In and out is a 2-lane roadway, no matter which way you go. And so if they all try to leave at once, it's going to be a problem. But what we've done is we're going to mobilize our road and bridge department in 2-man teams, and they're going to be strategically placed throughout the county with water, jumper cables, fuel cans, just you name it, so that if there are stranded motorists or anything, we can get to them, get them off the road, and keep the traffic moving as quick as we can.
A big concern, the traffic can block emergency vehicles from getting to where they need to be.
That in itself is of a huge concern for the city of Llano, because if you, I don't know if you noticed, we've only got one bridge that goes north and south, and if something happens on that bridge, we're going to be in for a challenge. And just on opening day of deer season, traffic will back up sometimes 10 or 12 blocks, and so we're expecting that to be on steroids.
Well, if you've never seen a total eclipse, it's an amazing thing to see, and I hope everything goes smoothly for Llano County and all the counties around you.
I do too. I really do. We're prepared as much as we could with our hospitals and EMS and everything, and we're looking forward to see what happens. And we're going to treat it as a disaster, just if nothing else, for good practice.
In Rains County in Northeast Texas, Judge Linda Wallace and Emergency Management Coordinator Joe Parker expressed concerns over managing the influx of visitors. With a population of just over 12,000, the county is bracing for a potential surge in numbers. But they're hopeful that everyone has a safe and wonderful time. Judge, when did you and Rains County first begin preparing for this solar eclipse?
About 2 months ago, we had our first meeting and invited all of the first responders, mayors,
All the department heads.
other department heads, and kind of informed of what we had heard. And Joe had heard most of it, and he came to me with it. So we started preparing then. And I did a declaration more to be proactive and be ready for it and plan for it and hope we don't have the crowd that everybody's expecting.
How many people have you been told to expect?
Between 20 and 40 to even 60,000.
And
Our-
and how many residents are in Rains County?
A little over 12,000.
So
And our sheriff's office right now is not even fully staffed to take care of the 12,000 people we have living here in Rains County. So, we don't have extra patrol. We don't have extra people to help us. We're asking for volunteers to direct traffic. We're really planning a big event and hope it doesn't happen. We hope that they go other places to see this, and we have no security needs because we don't have the security people.
I assume your biggest concern is traffic.
Traffic is a big concern. We're at the courthouse sits right at the intersection of Highway 19 and Highway 69, which on a regular day in the week, it takes sometimes 30 minutes to an hour to get through that intersection, especially after school's released.
So just on a given ordinary day, traffic is a concern, and then you triple or maybe even quadruple your population.
Correct. The school has decided to close that day, and the county is going to be closed as the businesses. We decided to close just for security purposes.
Other than traffic, what are some of your big concerns?
Well, just mainly people stopping on the side of the road, interfering with property owners or, just encroaching on other property owners.
We're worried about even restaurants that, they have restrooms, and you get that many people, they're going to need facilities, and we don't have that. We don't have anything that can handle a large crowd. So we're concerned about a lot of different things.
What have you been telling your residents, preparing the residents of Rains County for this event?
We've told them to stay home.
Mhm.
There's still festivals planned in all three cities, I believe. Emory, Point, and East Waukene have festivals planned for the weekend, and there's just things that we normally don't have to deal with.
Are you advising your residents to buy groceries early, get their prescriptions filled, fill up their tanks with gas?
Yes, we are telling all of our county residents to stock up, get gas, be ready, in case of emergency, be ready to take alternate routes out of the county because our highways are going to be packed.
So are you primarily concerned when the event is over and everyone's trying to leave at once? Is that your primary concern? Is that Monday afternoon?
We are more concerned about that day and that time, but the weekend with all the festivals beginning on the weekend, I think we're going to have problems all weekend.
Yeah, so
Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm worried about our church parking lots. There's no way to close those off. And on Sunday, where are the parishioners going to park? Because I think they'll park in places to get a good spot to see the solar eclipse. So I'm worried about that kind of thing as well. And people even being able to get out of their homes that are living on Highway 69 and Highway 19. We have lots of residents that live on those two roads, and they can't even get out of their driveway if we have a big crowd.
Yeah, one of our concerns obviously is the East Waukene events. They're going to have alcohol and a lot of music and revelry and just good timing, and that always potentially leads to the issues that we're concerned about, especially with a smaller, limited law enforcement. That leading up to it, and then of course the egress of everybody as they're leaving on Monday. We'll try to get people out as quick as we can, get them on their way.
there's the potential, I suppose, of running out of gas stations running out of fuel, grocery stores running low on supplies.
We have advised all of the local merchants to do whatever they can to prepare extra stock,
Stock up.
on whether it be groceries, water, gasoline.
We have one grocery store.
Yeah, so it's, they've got limited capacity as well, so they're gonna try to do the best they can. The restaurants, they have limited freezer space. They're doing all they can. And so, yes, we're trying to be,
We're trying to
proactive
be
in all of that.
prepared.
Right. Well, I guess to, look at this in one positive sense is a solar eclipse catches no one by surprise. We know they're coming, so you have time to prepare.
Correct. We prepared. We don't have any idea what's coming, but except the eclipse, we know it's coming.
Right. What would you ask people planning to visit Rains County during this event? What would you like to ask of them?
Well, bring all of your own supplies, your food, and I asked them to call us, or we have a number on our website to call and register with us, so we at least know and can plan.
We hope everybody has a wonderful time. This is an event that's just a remarkable event that many people will only see in a lifetime.
I'm excited about the event itself. I just,
Yeah.
I want to make sure everybody, it's a good event and not a bad day for Rains County.
We're just a small rural town, county rather. And, we just hope that everybody that comes has a good time and they be respectful of our property and our residents.
We hope we don't fill our jail, and we have a really pleasant weekend and then a great day on Monday, the 8th.
We deeply appreciate Bandera County Commissioner Jack Mosley, Llano County Judge Ron Cunningham, and Rains County Judge Linda Wallace and Emergency Management Coordinator Joe Parker for taking time out of their busy schedules to join the podcast. As of this recording, the weather forecast for April 8th is looking uncertain, let's say, up and down the path of totality. Fingers are crossed for clear skies. We hope everyone safely enjoys the experience as the moon blocks the sun for a few memorable minutes. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Texas County Voice. To learn more about Texas counties and the Texas Association of Counties, visit county.org. We'll see you next time.